So earlier this week, I was watching another ocean documentary like I have been doing for like the past month or so. It's called Mission Blue. It's on Netflix right now. It's about Sylvia Earle, who is a marine biologist who has been since the '60s, I think, and she is a big ocean diver, and she likes to go down in the ocean, and she likes to look at everything, and she finds it fascinating. And her documentary called Mission Blue is about a couple different things about the beauty of the ocean, how the coral reefs have declined over the years, and how we are, as humans, what we are doing in our consumerist industry. We are destroying their home. We are destroying the home of corals, and all the and corals and barnacles. Now they are actual living beings, and all of the fish and the whales and everything. We are pretty much destroying their home, and that's she kind of has talked about the decline of corals over the past 10 years, 20 years, something like that. Um, and she talked about the many oil spills that occurred due to oil drilling out in the ocean, out in like the Gulf, as if you recall the 2010 BP oil spill, which was big, and it had a big, huge impact on the ecosystem of the Gulf, and basically what we are doing. Humans do a few different things which have a huge impact on the ocean and the earth itself, and how us as people pretty much. I've been thinking a lot about environmental ethics and how we are being unethical by doing things like drilling and the pollutants that we use. I, as a human, am a part of this. Unfortunately, I want to do something about this. I know that one thing I can do is stop eating fish. Stop eating animals in general. If you read Peter Singer's Animal Liberation, that is a great case for becoming a vegetarian or even a vegan, because of the pain that is involved with us, killing animals for our own purposes, and even what we do, like how we, will basically have an industry of producing milk and eggs, and what the effects are on the animal, even though we are not killing them. So, what she was talking about though is how in places like Japan and even in the U.S. and China, and how they are constantly catching many different fish. And she talked about the decline of bluefin tuna over the past 10 years, and that's because of people in Japan and many other countries, including China and the U.S., how we have been catching them, and how she walked through a Japanese fish market and saw all of these different fish that were caught that day, and that was just that day, and it was like mass amounts of fish that were caught just that day. And imagine how many fish do get caught in a day, and how many fish are taken out of the ocean in one day. How big of an effect that has on the ecosystem in all of the oceans, as to how much fish we do catch, and how much fish we consume. And this is what many environmental ethicists and thinkers refer to as the dominant worldview. The dominant worldview is taken by humans as that we use the earth as a means to our own ends. That's what we do. We drill because we need more resources, when we know full well that there are different alternatives to that, such as ethanol fuel, or driving hybrids. Now, hybrids are not perfect. They still have carbon emissions. However, they are much less. And this kind of over the last 20 years, this even longer than that, like past very very long time since cars were even made, how this big drive to secure ourselves and get as much oil, crude oil that we can, manufacture into gasoline and oil for cars, and stuff like that. That's the big that's been the whole issue of oil has caused a lot of problems between countries. The whole Iraq thing and everything like that. That's been one of the things that war with the Middle East has been centered around, and that's that plus weapons of mass destruction and terrorism and such. But oil has been a part of that, and pretty much we drill in the Arctic, we drill near Alaska, and around Alaska we drill pretty much everywhere around the U.S. coasts. Other countries drill also to get more oil, pretty much. That's pretty much what we do. We use the earth and every other being besides ourselves in it we use that, all of those things as a means to our own ends. And that's also consumerism, in that we are driven, the companies are driven to make as much money as possible. It's one of the reasons why I think Karl Marx had a great point, was that we should take what we need and not what we want. There should be a possibly even a currency-less system where we cannot have a business which does whatever they can to make the most money and the most profit and the most capital possible, and that it should be based, and the things that we take from this earth should be need based, and it's evident that what we are doing, because of our dominant worldview and our consumerism and our need to make the most money and capital, is doing to this earth and to the animals in it. Pretty much what we do is what is referred to, I think it's the I forget what it's exactly called, but there's this effect how because of the things like pesticides and stuff like that, which we use for farming here in the Midwest, eventually we'll get into the Missouri River, and we'll basically go down into the Mississippi River, and eventually pool out into the Gulf, which creates dead zones. That's what it's, dead zones of fish, because this kills fish. All those pollutants, they kill fish, which is why we have dead zones of all these fish dying around the Gulf coasts. And that's another big issue. But it's just because we are driven to make the most money that we can. To that's basically what businesses do. They have a capital and profit driven mission. That's basically what they want. That's their main goal. Most businesses, unless you're like a small business, most corporations, that is their main goal, for to gain the most capital, or to gain the most profit. So what Sylvia Earle was talking about was things like oil spills, dead zones, stuff like that, and how we are, and garbage and stuff that is going into the ocean, that is polluting the whole entire earth, that is killing coral, fish, whales, and also fishing, commercial fishing, and all the things that this is doing to the ocean, and how not only is this bad for them, because we should have a desire to conserve their lives like whales and fish, but this is going to have a big impact on us, because if we continue to kill and use the ocean and its resources, like for oil and fish, what have you, for our own purposes, then we will deplete those resources. And the problem with that is that the ocean and the organisms in that produce oxygen. They absorb carbon dioxide, which is as you know, we need oxygen to breathe, and carbon dioxide is what we exhale, of course. That's at least part of what we exhale. Um, those organisms absorb carbon dioxide. Corals do, and so do other um, organisms. And we need that. We need the organisms in the ocean and the ocean itself for various reasons, for our own good. And I don't think that is really well understood. I think we should pretty much try to conserve the ocean and the species in it for their own good itself, and not just for us anyway. Although it is even still going to have a negative effect on us as humans. So I think Sylvia Earle a has been a really amazing scientist, and basically, and that whole documentary has done really a great thing in kind of showing that to us. I think more people should kind of watch that. And I've read about that before in other environmental ethics books, and I plan on talking about like ethical theory, which is about environmental ethics again soon, which is my personal theory, which is called deep ecology. Deep ecology is pretty much what I think is the perfect one, but I just think that there should be more of an effort to conserve the ocean. I think the senators should think more about what their actions are doing, and possibly do more to conserve the ocean, conserve the resources on this earth, so that we can, for one, still be here, and two, conserve their lives too. I think senators and lawmakers should consider that a little bit more, and I think thankfully they have. Otherwise, there would be many species who would be extinct. But there should be more. There should be more. I guess. What am I trying to say? There should be more efforts in conserving the ocean and the inhabitants in it.